And we are live.
The Fantasmagorium is proud. Well, wait. The Fantasmagorium presents Shotgun, Cyborgs, and CyberDyne while we review Terminator Salvation. I don't like to editorialize in the introductions, so Kat is here, and so is Steve. Dun 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 dun.
Hi.
Hi. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
So we didn't. Scotty didn't prepare a proper introduction because he doesn't like this movie.
No. That's an understatement.
But I watch the shit that you want me to watch for this channel, and I don't complain about it. I just watch it.
But it's very strange. One of the things that I wanted to do when I became a person who talked about things on the internet is that I wanted to talk about things that I liked. And I was really hoping I would like this movie. I thought that it was going to grow on me after what I tried to watch it 3 times, Kat.
Well, I told you I wasn't interested in watching all the Tarantino movies because I don't like a lot of his movies. And
well,
I
and
did it and I didn't complain about it.
I have received postcards from people saying, "I will never forgive you about Destiny Turns on the Radio."
Right. Yeah.
Postcards from people? Like, who are these people? What type of
Jill! Anti-derivative Jill. Don't forget to subscribe.
Yeah. Like, subscribe, push the button, do all the things.
But yeah, no, this is a movie that makes me angry.
I don't know why.
We'll explore it.
Tell me why does it make you angry? Just give us a quick synopsis of the anger that's induced by this Terminator Salvation movie.
Do you ever wonder what is going to happen?
All the time.
Well, yeah.
No. I mean, in this movie, it's specifically all of the. Remember when we got in that big fight about Andor? And I was like, who cares about Andor? Because we know he's going to die.
What difference does it make if you know if they're going to die or not? There's more. How many comic book stories have been written where you know they don't kill the villain off at the end of the story? They're still good stories.
No, I know. I'm not saying I'm correct. I'm just debating my dissatisfaction with the film.
So that's the main gripe, or is that just one of them?
Well, it's one of them.
Okay.
It's just relentless action scenes with we know that they're gonna win, don't we?
You say that about every Star
from
Trek
beginning to end.
You say that about every Star Trek movie that's made. You know that they're not all going to get blown up and die.
Yeah, no, but remember in Star Trek 2 when Spock died? I didn't see that coming. What about Quicksilver? I didn't see that coming.
There's stakes. There's stakes in all.
Sometimes things happen, but this movie is stakesless.
No, I mean you can say that about every movie in this franchise after T2.
All right, you guys talk about what you like, so I'll shut up for a bit because I'm going very negative right off the hop.
Right off the hop. Well, you get rid of the things we didn't like about the movie, and then we can talk about the things we did like.
Well, why don't you guys convince me? Because I'm going to need convincing.
I'm not in the business of convincing people to like or not like anything.
Yeah.
I just if it didn't land for you, it didn't land for you, man. That's great.
Well, why don't you guys talk about it?
What's great about it is there's several other movies in this franchise that you do like.
True.
What I like about this movie is that it's not retelling the same damn story over. Like T2 and T5 and T6 are the same movie over and over again because they have no creativity. This is the one where they actually tried to have a different plot for a change. There's no time travel. It's just the Resistance versus Skynet and trying to blow up Skynet headquarters in San Francisco. And even though that's not the end-all, be-all for Skynet, it occurs to me that we've never actually seen John Connor prevail in the way that the humans think he's going. Like, he's the most important guy and all that. Like, well, why don't we have a Terminator movie that validates that, where he actually gets to destroy Skynet? Like, all of it. Like, is there ever going to be a Terminator movie where we see the humans claim final victory over all the machines?
Right.
I mean, they haven't made one yet.
I mean, this is the first one where we actually see him win the battle.
Yeah.
Well,
like
and this was supposed to be the beginning of a trilogy, was it not?
I believe so.
I think it was. They were trying to reboot. Yeah.
But they still.
So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, the synopsis of Terminator Genesis is that it's the future war. That's
Salvation.
the synopsis.
Well, Salvation, not Genesis.
Salvation.
Salvation. No, I like Genesis.
Right, but you just said plot of Genesis is.
I know, I was wrong.
Yeah.
I was wrong.
Next week. That's
People
next week.
Yes. Can't wait for that one. That's going to be great.
I agree. I agree with Kat. I liked it. I really like this movie. In fact, I think it's my favorite of the. This and Dark Fate are my two favorites after T1 and 2. Those are my obviously those are untouchable in this franchise. But after that, 3 I didn't care for that much. I liked this one. I hated the next one, and Dark Fate's okay. It's just another retelling of the same old story again. But at some point we're going to get past that. I hope if they keep making these movies. But that's what I liked about this one. The no time travel thing. I know it throws a lot of people that love this franchise. They're like, "Oh, there's no time travel. It's a piece of shit." Okay, well, I think after the first 3 movies, we needed a break, and I liked that there was no time travel. We just kind of get to see, why these people are so important to Skynet, right? And this is, it just furthers, for me, it furthered the plot, that furthered the mythos and the story through line, through this whole, at least up to this point, franchise.
Well, and there is a certain level of time travel when it comes to the guy from Avatar, Sully.
Sam Worthington and his dogs.
Sam Worthington. I didn't write this down. I apologize.
That's fine.
But there is a certain level of time travel.
A little bit.
Based on the fact that he is he's a criminal that is dead, that is revived in the future, kind of thing.
A little bit. Yes. So it's reanimation, but but it's not. Let's go back in time and change something.
This is my least favorite Helena Bonham Carter movie.
Yeah, she's not in the movie that much. It's a glory.
I know, and it's so bad. I'm just like, oh.
Well, I can say what I did. There's several things It's not a perfect movie by any means. Come on, these are.
No, it sucks.
These are action.
No, the next one sucks. This one's not that bad.
No, this one sucks. The next one's pretty okay.
The next one's really bad. But it's a big action flick. But there is a cool story inside of that.
What is it?
I wish
the best idea that came up with in this movie is the idea that there's a human who's a Terminator and he doesn't know it.
Right.
That's a great idea. That was the only original idea they came up with after Terminator 2.
Yeah.
Because T3, 5, and 6 are just let's redo T2.
An infiltrator that doesn't know he's a robot.
Infiltrator.
Yeah.
No.
So I like that. I thought it was for this franchise. It was refreshing. So there's a story. A lot of it, because it's a big action flick, and this happens not just in this franchise. This happens across franchises and other big Hollywood movies. Is that the story? I think if we retold or reshot this movie today, it probably wouldn't be a movie. It'd be like a series. It would be some kind of limited series on Netflix or HBO or something. Because I think a lot of the moments.
It doesn't matter how many times I get to show these.
I know, those are great. There's a lot of the plot. There's a lot of plot that's not earned, right? Or because of time. There's a lot of things that are just they kind of gloss over. And so it does a lot. There's a lot of things that don't feel earned. That I can say that about every movie in this franchise, though, because it's just the way the kind of movies these are.
You know what was very strange for me is seeing the future war take place in the daytime, because a lot of this and when you watch a special effects movie, a lot of the time it's like, oh, it's all at night and it's raining because they want to cover up the special
It's easy,
effects.
right? It's easier.
Like the CGI giant monster Terminators,
Cool.
super fabu.
And I think
Didn't feel like a Terminator movie. Felt like a
no,
Transformers movie.
I don't know. Well,
Yes.
you know what? It had a little element of that. I'll give you that. It felt like a Terminator.
But but it's sort of its era. And I'm with Kat, where it's like, let's remove the time travel. Let's just see what was going on. I think Anton Yelchin was great.
Me too.
No, I couldn't take Batman as John Connor. Couldn't.
I thought he's a
It
lot better than
bothered
Nick
me.
Stahl.
Yeah.
I think he's a lot better than Nick Stahl. Nothing about Nick Stahl makes me think that this guy's going to become the hero of the resistance.
No, and no argument.
That's not Nick's fault, but because that was.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I don't want to fight about Nick Stahl.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that, he was too recognizable. It's like when you get a new James Bond or Superman. It's like always get an unknown.
I don't know. I think he was.
Christian Bale had too much baggage for me.
I get it. That's fine. He's Batman.
Well, no, I'm
I
stupid.
wouldn't put John Connor on the same level of those other characters you mentioned, because you never really get to see much of him other than Terminator 2. Like in 3, he's like, and then in 4, he's there, but he's not really the central focus of the movie. He's the B plot.
How did you like Bryce Dallas Howard?
She
didn't really get to do
fine,
much.
but it could have been one of 100 actresses could have filled that role.
It could have been Claire Danes.
It could.
Yeah, because that's who she's supposed to be. So it's like,
Yeah. But that's a different guy. I have to give a shout out to Rich Evans when it comes to the Terminators.
I do like the Moto Terminators though. Those were cool.
Yeah, those are awesome.
Oh yeah, no, totes, they were cool.
The motorcycles were cool, and the fact that he hot wires and hijacks one is fucking badass.
That whole action sequence with him and the kids running, that lengthy action, that was great.
Yeah, so, you know what I kept thinking? It was like, oh man, this is what a George Miller, Mad Max Terminator movie would look like. There's a lot of those kind of sequences.
It does channel that. A bit too much editing for that, because George just kind of lets the action speak for itself.
Yeah.
But it was definitely...
Yeah, but Mick G directed Terminator, what's this called? And he started out. He is one of those sort of MTV directors, much like Michael Bay.
And God love him. I'm not a big fan of his work. He's just not I don't think he's a great filmmaker, but
I really liked Charlie's Angels.
Scotty says this is going to be weird, and Ernesto responds, "No weirder than your existence."
That's exactly correct.
Well, bless me.
Yes.
Let me see if there's.
That's funny.
It's funny.
Yeah, it was fine.
Also, Happy New Year, everybody. Now that we're talking about this future war of the end of the world, this is our first broadcast of 2025. I'm glad it's a Terminator movie, even though I hate it. And welcome. Thank you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Is that it? Is that all I have to say?
Hit the bell, smash the like button, do all the things.
Smash the like button, right. Hit the bell.
Yeah. This movie is supposed to be taking place in 2018, which I thought was interesting. It's not something I really pay attention to too close in these movies. I'm not a.
Well, that's because Kyle says he was sent back in the year 2029, and they wanted him to be
2029, right? Yeah. So I was trying to do the math, when I was watching it earlier today. I'm like, oh yeah, because they say Kyle Reese in this movie. Kyle Reese is basically a teenager. Like, wait a minute, how does that work? But
he's
works.
like 19.
Yeah.
Well, but that's the thing, is that they were trying to prime up for a trilogy that would culminate in Kyle Reese going back in time.
Yeah.
Saint
makes sense.
Martinez, get a headshot.
Boom, headshot. Boom, headshot. Headshot.
How's this for a head, baby?
Oh,
boy.
my stars, put on a singlet.
I just wanted to introduce you guys to someone to celebrate the new year. Hey, baby.
You bought a pony.
Pony.
Her name is Honey Blue.
Honey
Nice.
Blue.
HB.
HB. Just came back from picking her up from her
That's
from her
amazing.
foster family, and now she's in a forever home with me.
Nice.
Oh, that's amazing. That's
Yeah.
so rad. I want a puppy.
I wanted to say that I saw this movie with my dad when it came out, and the one thing that we kind of walked away not liking is that it was more comedy than action sci-fi,
Mhm.
because it constantly
Yeah.
made a jab at Schwarzenegger when he goes to the strip club. Like, that was more comedy than needed to be. It's kind of like took away the claw marks of the original two, where he takes clothes without asking questions, and it had the whole talk to the hand.
Oh no,
And-
that was
last week.
Rise of the Machines. That was last
That was-
week,
that
you
was-
topless
Oh, right.
weirdo.
Sorry, my head is
Yeah.
somewhere else. My head is still stuck in
Were you
last year. I
sent? Were you
apologize.
sent through time without clothes and a puppy?
Mhm.
Yes, that's how it works.
Jill says, "Congrats on the puppy."
Oh, thank you. We're gonna
No,
get
that's
along
amazing.
We're,
Yeah.
we're talking about salvation.
well. Salvation. And for whatever reason, I thought we were talking about T3.
Giant GoBot Robotech shit.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, mama. Hey, mama. All right. Well, I'm gonna leave you guys too. I just wanted you guys to say hi to the newest member official to House Martinez.
Nice.
Well, and
The
Saint
mascot.
Martinez, I just I appreciate your OnlyFans, but if you could just prove that you're wearing pants, I would be happy.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, y'all enjoy the review, and good for you.
Oh, good.
Oh
for
yeah,
you.
we got to talk about that.
Take care.
Congrats on the puppy too.
Yeah, that's so good. I love. It's nice to have a sidekick. Everyone needs a Chewbacca.
Right.
Anyway,
Good for you.
and also I'm
Now
very
you brought it up.
very upset. I'm upset that he was wearing pants. I was hoping that he wasn't.
Now that he brought it up, the good for you.
Yeah, Kat, let's go. What do you? So, can you explain the good for you?
No, you explain it.
So apparently, there was an incident on set when they were making this movie, and it is one of the most, if not the most, publicly disclosed on-set freakouts. I think David O. Russell is second. And so, yeah, there was a production assistant who crossed an eye line in the middle of a very intense scene, according to Christian Bale, who you'll all remember as being Batman. So he yells at the guy, and he doesn't just yell at the guy. He says, "Don't you understand how much I am working right now?" And the guy's like, I'm what? Sorry. And the best part is, and it has been a punchline with many of my friends since forever, is when someone says that they have done, like, oh no, I was being stupid. Sorry. And it's like, oh, you're sorry. Good for you.
Good for you.
Good for you. Don't you understand? Anyway, it's hilarious. I will probably find a
I
clip
have
of
it.
it.
I'm gonna
You
pop
got it? We got to do it, man.
I don't have it to play, and I don't.
That's
wanna
fine.
get-
That's fine.
I
We'll
don't
put
wanna
it in
get
the chat or
strikes,
something.
But what I will do is I'll copy the.
We should
URL.
play it now.
I don't. Yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to.
No, it's probably it'll get us
I
in
don't want
trouble.
to. I don't want to strike.
Yeah,
It may
yeah.
not,
What happens when Patrick Bateman starts?
but there's a link for everybody, so you can go check it out. It's pretty epic. It's an epic.
So
event.
we can't play it, but we can post the link.
Yes, we can post a link.
Oh, good for you.
Oh, good for you.
But it's monumental. It's something that it's a meme. It is part of pop culture references. Zeitgeist. So yeah, no, I do it. I enjoy that very much. But that's a different guy. Anyway, did you want to talk about the movie?
Yeah, I also like that Michael Ironside is the other de facto leader of the resistance.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, maybe you could channel some of your character from Starship Troopers.
right, exactly.
As the leader of the resistance.
But it feels like they set him up as being like a Richter from the Mars movie. Total Recall.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that they didn't make Michael Ironside a bad guy. He was just more of an adversary or an antagonist as opposed to being a villain.
Right. Yeah, he wasn't a villain at all. He's like, yeah, we're trying to take it down Skynet, and you need to do what I tell you to. Because apparently the plot is that they've discovered a way to mimic the signal to lure them into, wiping them out, which we later find out is a Skynet plant. But I kind of dug the mystery at the start, because it's like, okay, this guy is a death row inmate. We're not told what he did to end up here. He's executed, and then he's back, and it's like,
what?
And I did think in the theater. Well, I did think in the theater that could he be a Terminator? But then I thought, why? He's executed a long time ago. Why would they have his likeness? So I thought, oh, maybe not. And it wasn't until the magnets started sticking to him that it's like, oh shit. But that was I thought that was a great twist.
Yeah.
No, I didn't think it was a great twist at all. I thought it was stupid and shoddy. Why the hell? It was like 2003. Here is Sam Worthington. And then it was the future. And it was like, he's here now. And I was like, okay, so he's a robot or something. Like, it doesn't take that much of a leap in logic. Why did he show up? And I was just like, oh, he's a robot. It didn't take any effort for me to be like, why did they announce that it was 2003 and now in 2020, whatever, 7, 6, and he was like, oh, he's still alive and he looks exactly the same.
Well,
he's 90s, a fucking robot.
Well, it was the 90s because it was before Judgment Day, and he was...
Must have been. Well, but also, Judgment Day's been malleable.
That's true. But I liked that. Some of the dialogue I didn't really like. It's like, okay, I would do another pass on the dialogue for the script.
It was better. Like, it was better than Rise of the Machines.
Yes. Yeah.
They didn't do the jokey, dumbed down humor dialogue and that. And then he's traveling with Kyle and this other kid who doesn't speak.
Yeah.
Which was odd.
Star. Which isn't really her name. It's just a symbol on her hat.
Right.
Because she couldn't speak.
Starfleet. No, I can call people logos.
Starfleet.
Exactly. Adidas. So I fucking hate this movie. What do you want to talk about?
Well, what else do you hate about it?
The giant robots. I don't like the giant robots.
Why?
What's wrong with the robots?
Well, the thing is, like, I enjoyed the efficiency and the quality of the hunter killers from the
Yeah.
first two movies.
Mhm.
Even the third movie, when they escalated to the point where they developed their initial design, it was like, yeah, no, I get the evolution of all this. And then in this movie, it's all Ray Harryhausen fucking 4-story tall. It's like, what?
Yeah, but
You have airplanes with lasers. Why do you need? Why would you? What resources are required to make yourself a giant mechanical
Well, they had the
man?
same thing. The same
yeah,
thing
they
in
have
the
all
first
the
two.
resources they need.
They had the same thing in the first two, where they had that huge bulky
Yeah.
thing on treads, which has the really slow.
Tanks make sense, Cat. Tanks make sense.
So
Do
do
they? I mean,
They're
yeah,
efficient.
Big and
Yeah.
efficient. This big
not
robot.
more efficient than a giant robot.
Yeah,
Whoa,
a giant
what is
robot's
it?
gonna cause a
Killing
lot more
machine.
destruction.
Human
Where
killing
does he
machine.
sit?
And it's
Where's the recharger?
I don't
How-
recall
how-
ever seeing any of the machines having a
Well, see,
recharger.
See, they haven't got to that.
Does he
point
turn
yet.
into a square? Does he just like compact? Is he a transformer? Is
No,
it?
they're
Not
they're
a he.
It's
Didn't
not
mean to
Transformers.
address
Hello,
any
Daniel.
genders.
These
Hello,
movies
Daniel.
aren't prequels to Transformers. These movies are prequels to The Matrix.
Daniel's
They
Hot
just haven't-
Topic says Terminator
they just-
Salvation was great. Why, oh, why did it fail?
Yeah.
Daniel's Hot Topics. It is very, very nice to see you here, sir. Thank you for being here.
Happy
The
New Year.
reason that Daniel is wrong is because Terminator Salvation was not great.
But what is the reason
was
that you
great.
hated the movie, though?
I don't
No,
know.
I don't think it was. I don't think it was.
No, but what
I
is
mean,
the
that's
reason that
okay.
you hated the movie?
You know, it's okay to be wrong.
I am. No, I am fully aware that I'm the one who's very, very wrong.
You're actually not. I think it's pretty divided. It's
Hi,
pretty.
Scotty. Hope you guys had a great day.
Nope.
Yeah, there's more. Well, Steve's here, too.
Well,
Yeah,
and
he
you
never
too,
seems to
Kat. Come on.
Yeah, he never seems to notice the other people on the panel.
We're in love. No, but I'm not a fan, but like there are spikes in the movie. Like there are parts of the movie that I'm like, oh, that's cool. There are certain action sequences, but the story itself, I have no anticipation. There is no like tension. It's just watching things happen without emotional investment. And that is
That's what I was
the
trying
worst
to allude
crime.
to. That's what I was trying to allude to earlier, and I think every movie after T2 suffers from that. The fact that they just don't earn. Nothing's earned. It's just kind of they're just, movies. They're just like action movies for the sake of making more action movies in the franchise.
Yeah, 3, 5, and 6 don't really add anything new. Well, 3, I guess, adds something new because Judgment Day happens, which was
Yeah, you get to see it.
But 5 and 6 don't add anything new to the overarching narrative. It's just,
You know what? And this is the reason that I'm putting you through this, my friends, is because I still haven't seen 6.
Yeah, and
So-
that's
Well,
all.
we will. It's coming out.
Like
do
that's
like
the
to watch
entire
the-
reason we're doing this.
Yeah.
I
Is
do like to
just so
watch
I can watch 6.
I do like that we get to go to Skynet, their San Francisco headquarters, where they have the prison and they're killing all the people. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was
In
pretty
this
dark.
one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
in this one.
That's where the climax of the movie takes place.
Yeah, where they're killing all the people in the machine and the.
Oh, right. We get to go. Yeah, no, you're right. Right. Sorry, I forgot. And
You
but
forgot
that's
when
when
the
we get.
movie is-
That's when we get CGI Arnold.
Yes. Well,
Yeah,
fake Arnold.
see, the third movie has the best quote: "Desire is irrelevant. I am a machine." That was a good quote.
I've said that during coitus.
It says,
Right.
"I'm okay with giant robots. There were giant bots on wheels in the first Terminator. The Moto Terminators, yikes."
Oh, I like
yeah,
that.
no, the Hunter Killers.
I thought those were cool.
Yeah, the motorcycle ones I thought were pretty cool.
Yeah.
They were cool.
He says, "Fun fact: the prequel comic book for this movie was my first comic book purchase ever." Wow.
Wow, cool.
Nice.
That was something that you should have showed off on the stream. But yeah, I like that you get to see that. And it's like, okay, you go to Skynet, like their San Francisco headquarters, but it seems like, just like in Terminator 3, they don't have a singular global headquarters. Because it's in the software, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Which means there's still a chapter of the Terminator story mythos to be told, which is the final victory against the machines. But they don't seem to want to tell that story. It seems like this movie failed, and so they decided, let's just go back to doing something safe, which is repeating Terminator 2 again.
And it's a bummer because I think there's, like I was saying earlier, there's a lot that's not earned, and it's just because there are time limits and trying to fit all this action set pieces into this movie, into an action movie, which is fine. But that's why I think this movie could have been explored across either several movies or like a series. If it was made today, I think it would be like some kind of
trilogy
on HBO.
Well, it was going to be a series of movies, and then this one just didn't do well.
Yeah, so because I think there's a lot. I mean, there's to unpack in this movie. There's a whole story to tell with the Helena Bonham Carter character. There, how she shows up in person, right, in 2003 or whatever.
Well, she is Skynet,
and then she becomes Skynet, the CyberDyne that becomes Skynet. There's a story there.
Through the power of cancer.
It's very. I mean, they barely touch on it, but there's a.
Well, you know what a great
there's a killer story in there, and they just didn't. You know what I mean?
Well, no, you know what they were trying to do is they were trying to make Helena Bonham Carter Skynet, as in being like the Borg Queen.
Yes, good analogy. I agree.
I think that a Terminator story that would be great to tell is when they invented time travel and having to steal it. And that would be a great story to tell.
Yeah.
Like, how did that... Because there's 11 years between Kyle meeting up with John Connor and Kyle being sent back in time.
Right.
So there's a whole story there with how did we get a hold of time
Yeah,
travel.
but also...
And did the robots, did the machines, did they invent time travel because of John Connor? Interesting.
Yeah. But also, like, while I appreciate the idea of John Connor and Kyle Reese becoming friends, every time I see them hang out and be buddy-buddy, I'm going to be thinking that John Connor is sort of like planting seeds to be like, you want to fuck my mom?
Yeah. No, it's not even want to. You have to go back and bang my mom.
Exactly. It's not even do you want to. It's like, I need you to fuck my mom.
The way that Kyle told the story in the first movie was that John talked about her all the time. Right. And he kind of built this image up in his head of who she was, which is why the first movie doesn't earn that relationship either. It kind of that one night stand is just so weird in the first movie. It is weird. It was like
no, it's not weird. Linda Hamilton is attractive.
No, it's weird because it's not the way he's going on about it. Like I've been in love with you. I'm like, how are you in love with this person? You don't even nothing about her, other than
when you say it that way. You're right.
It's like it's one thing for him to think she's hot. It's another thing to be like, I'm in love.
I don't know. Did you see her O face? It was a pretty good O face.
Ernesto says a movie exploring the creation of time travel would be great. Make it the Rogue One of the franchise, a true suicide mission. Yeah, that's true. It would probably bear a lot of similarities to Rogue One. But Terminator style. He also says Salvation would and should have ended after the first helicopter crash with Connor and the T-600. Less terminating and more body slamming. Every encounter with the T model should have ended him. Yeah, that's true. Well, he's not superhuman. Like it was. It got to the point where John getting thrown around was the same as Sam Worthington getting thrown around. It's like no, Worthington's a Terminator. He could take that. It's like John Connor can't take that.
That's also one of the things that I adore and also lament about the continuing storytelling of established intellectual properties. Like, we are told that there is no way out of this in the first Terminator movie.
Right.
And everyone is getting away with it by the skin of their teeth. They're gonna die.
Well, the conceit of the entire franchise is based on ridiculousness. If this was
your ridiculousness,
I know. If this was actually true, if there was actually Skynet and T whatevers, even the T-100, the very first one, or whatever, humans don't have a fucking chance in hell.
No.
They just don't. You can't fight back against that. I get the little cells of resistance.
Punch a robot and tell me how it goes.
See what happens. Let them punch.
You'd have to use a massive Gatling gun for each one.
I don't even know what to aim. What am I shooting at, the tires?
If you didn't exterminate the AI in the first 24 hours of existence, you're fucked. You're done. It's just you're just done.
Welcome to the future, gentlemen.
Right? It's like so yeah. I mean,
happy 2025.
There's a conceit there that you have to either accept that and then go on with the premise of the franchise, or you don't. Yeah.
Well, it's also like each one trying to do something. At least the first two did something different, because the first movie has a very fatalistic, downbeat ending. It's like, she lived, but we're not able to stop this. It's going to happen whether I like it or not, and I might not survive. Because that's the thing that they don't really tell you, is that before Terminator 2 and 3 came along, they didn't tell you what Kyle never said what John said became of Sarah in the future. Like, did she survive Judgment Day? Did she not? Like, we don't know. They never told us. And so it has this very dark and grim ending as she's driving off into the storm clouds, whereas Terminator 2 has a much more optimistic ending because, we've prevented Judgment Day, we've saved the world, but it has a little bit of somberness because John's losing this kind of pseudo-father figure. And it's like, wow, these are two very different types of ending, which is, again, one of the great things about Terminator 2. It's taking the same plot, but adding all these other layers to it, whereas Terminator 3, it does so in a lesser way with all the comedy, but they surprise you with Judgment Day happening.
Right.
Whereas Terminator 4, and a bit fatalistic, because like when he asked why didn't he do what we wanted to, and she's like, well, that was his mission, to make sure we lived. And even her father told him to go there, even though, because he knew there was no stopping it either. Whereas the fourth one, it's like, it's giving us a window into an actual battle of the humans against the resistance, and reminding us that, you could take down what seems to be, because they keep playing up Skynet in San Francisco almost like it's the major headquarters, but it's not, because it's just another, maybe for the West Coast or something, but like they say, it's a global network. You can't really, taking down one place isn't going to destroy all the Terminators.
But Terminator Salvation is the first episode of a 3-episode show, and it was very specifically in that time, and I'm sure that this is all of cinema time, where you were going to make an episode, or you were going to make a film, and it was going to be the beginning of a trilogy. And it's like, how about the first movie do well? Set it up for itself.
Yeah, but I mean, we're still doing that. Hollywood still does that to this day.
Yeah, and to that
and they did it before here.
And that's
anyway.
To that point you brought up, Scotty.
Yes.
Ernesto says, to your point about Kyle and Sarah's union, it's likely every mention of her was by design by John, planting the seed and letting it grow. Yeah, we would have seen that if they got to do the other movies in this intended series.
Yeah, man. And it would be 3 movies of a guy saying, do you want to fuck my mom?
But I don't think this movie, yes, you can imply that they would make a sequel, but it didn't feel like it demanded one. I mean, it was about John getting to meet Kyle, and this is how Kyle and John came to meet, and you get to see a battle against Cyan and what it's actually like. And the creation of the T-800s, the first T-800s being made.
Right. The intention of the filmmakers might have been that, Scotty, but the film doesn't say anything. The film doesn't lead up to a sequel.
All right.
Eugene Burt says, Scotty is too important to deal with this stupid stuff like saving the world. There are smokes to be smoked and tiger stripes to marry, damn it.
Damn it.
That's right.
Thank you, Eugene.
Old man, you are a benefactor. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And chest bumps and high fives.
Mm.
Steve, can I have the smoke?
You
Sure.
can.
I'm gonna go. While we hear this.
Damn it,
There we
man.
go.
Damn it, that was-
I also remember that this movie, people were thinking that McG was going to become like. People were really talking about him a lot and hyping him up at the time, but I hadn't really seen
Big
much
time.
of his other stuff to be a fan. But this movie underperforming is what kind of killed that. And
Yeah.
I don't know what he does now. Maybe he directs television. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, he does.
Let's see. What does he
He's
do?
done a bunch of TV. He did some movies after this, but I don't have his IMDb in front of me. But
Let's see. I got it. Okay, so he's been directing episodes of the True Lies TV series, the Not Dead Yet TV series, the Winchesters, a lot of episodes of that.
yeah, because he did a bunch of Supernatural too. I think he might have co-created that.
Yeah, producer and screenwriter of producer of a couple things here and there. And then a lot of I see a lot of direct to video stuff in here too. So yeah, he just found a different avenue after the mainstream didn't take off as much as we thought. But I remember people were talking about this movie was supposed to be bigger, or they were thinking, because it was released in May 2009. It was set up as it was going to be
they
a
were
big
hoping, and I think everybody at the time actually thought it was going to be a good. Well, it had big stars in it. You know what I mean? It looked like it was going to be big, but the
oh yeah, it says
critic
McG was
score-
yeah.
the critic score is 33%, and then the audience score was just over 50%.
Okay, this
So
is
like 52 or
unbelievable. This is unbelievable if this is true. So Ernesto's in this two-parter. He says McG was supposed to direct a Superman movie but hated flying. It was either Superman or Justice League. They couldn't get him on the plane to Australia to start filming.
Is that right?
I haven't heard that story.
Me neither.
Or maybe I did and I just forgot. But that's crazy. I mean, you could take a boat, maybe. I don't know. It'd take a while. But I don't know.
That's a
Where
long
did they
flight,
salvation?
Get
Yeah,
it.
that's crazy.
It's a
That's
16-hour flight or better, but
yeah. Yeah, that's crazy.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know that. I mean, they may have planned for 3 movies, but I don't know. I don't know if that was.
I don't think that was a solid thing.
They didn't really write this movie for.
No, it
for
was written as a stand. It was like, this is the movie where we find out about the first T-800s being made, and then John Connor finds out that. Well, I thought it was interesting that in the beginning we find out that John is kind of reluctant to listen to the tapes she left him behind. He hasn't listened to all of them,
Right.
and he caves into that and finds out about Kyle. And even Sarah says on the tape that I'm kind of conflicted. Should I tell you about Kyle? Will that influence your decision to send him back or not? And so that's how this movie is where he first finds out about Kyle and meets him, and where we first meet the T-800s. And so there is a lot of stuff happening here that's key to the lore. So it's not a complete empty, random battle movie. I mean, you do have stuff that contributes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh no. I thought it felt really. It wasn't a huge deep dive into the mythos or the lore of Terminator, but you get a lot of it. I mean, you get a lot of it in most of the movies, but
okay. Ernesto says that
I thought it was a big step.
Ernesto says McG told that story about not flying to Australia when Christian Harloff interviewed him for Collider Live.
Makes
sense.
That's I thought the writing was a big step up from the third one.
Yeah.
Even though it's not great writing by any means, and it's not a great movie. I don't think it's a great movie at all. It's a decent. In my opinion, it's a decent.
Like a rainy Saturday afternoon type action movie. It's not awful.
It's fine. And actually, watching the director's cut right now before the show, it was nice. I hadn't seen it probably since it came out 2009. Correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I haven't seen it since then. I don't think I went back. I might have went back one time in between then and now, but
Genesis I only saw once in theaters on.
If we weren't gonna do it next week, I wouldn't watch it again.
Yeah.
There's no reason for me to ever see that movie again. I did see Dark Fate in the theater though. It was interesting.
I did. Yeah, that was we'll get to that when we get to it, but yeah, it was better than 3 and 5, 3 and 4, 5, but it was just again trying to reboot for another trilogy. And
Yeah, and
that one got killed, I think, because that one I'm looking at right now had a 70% critic rating, 82% audience rating, and I believe it was profitable, but Linda Hamilton just didn't want to come back because she's like, oh, that was a grueling, workout and all of that, and she was going to be key to that whole story. And James Cameron's like, because Cameron produced it, he's like, oh, okay, so that was the end of that.
Oh my God, are you guys still talking about Terminator Salvation? This is ridiculous.
We were talking about Dark Fate.
Okay. I haven't seen it.
And Salvation, because next week we're not going to have Steve and I aren't going to have much anything to say about Genesis.
Yeah.
Oh no, but I'm gonna face, neck, and chest that movie. I love that movie.
I have a feeling you love that movie for all the wrong reasons.
Oh, absolutely. No, but the thing is that it sucks when it ends. Like the third act falls apart, but everything, like the first 2 acts of next week's movie, is better than all 3 acts of whatever this dour, sepia-toned, giant robot.
Like the opening of Terminator 1 isn't dour in the future where the people are living in the sewers watching.
But where are we going? What happened? What is the culmination of Terminator Salvation?
Well, the culmination is that we find out when the Terminators first invented the T-800s.
Yeah.
John first finds out about Kyle Reese here. When we talked about while you were gone, is that he did not listen to all of his mom's tapes because he was reluctant to not find out too much about the future. So that's the first time he sees that. And it's the first time he and Kyle Reese meet. And then the idea that, which they didn't explore other times in the franchise, is a Terminator which doesn't know it's a Terminator.
Yeah.
That could have been interesting and taken that somewhere. And we get that the implication would be that they would go on and like we mentioned, the time travel, like who invented time travel and the heist and all that kind of thing.
Well, it was Helena Bonham Carter.
No, like who invented time travel? It wasn't her.
Yeah.
Like,
that's interesting.
That would be the direction it was going to go, but it didn't succeed. Each reboot in this movie franchise was supposed to go somewhere, and then because they didn't do as well, they just didn't go anywhere with them.
So, would you want more of this Terminator universe?
If they said it in the future in the war, because like I said, we still haven't seen the invention of time travel. Who was responsible for that? How is it that they were able to send one back to 1984 and then 3 years because in the first movie they say it was 2029 that they sent them back in time from. In the second one they said it was in 2032 when the T went that. So what happened in those 3 years? Because the first one describes it as like $1 million one shot to send somebody back, but then they got another chance 3 years later. So that'd be an interesting story, 2 stories to tell. But also, like I said, is there a final endgame victory for humanity over Skynet? Is there? Like, is there something like a virus that humans can invent that they could plant that will infect all of Skynet in the same way that Skynet infected all of computer? Who knows? But it's another. And like Steve said, the ridiculous nature of this whole conceit of the franchise. Yeah, they would obviously have 1 million firewalls to prevent that from happening, but because of how ridiculous this is, who says the humans can't make something to destroy it?
Yeah, but remember,
we're literally going to see that this summer with the next Mission Impossible, where this AI, which has apparently infected everything, is not going to be able to stop Tom Cruise from going after the source computer.
Yeah. We cannot have Richard Kimball find the one-armed man.
That's my answer. I would rather see that the culmination in the finale, an ultimate victory of the humans. Like show,
but we can't. You can't.
Yes, you do, because if John Connor is such a great hero and not just another resistance leader of all the different pockets, like what makes him stand out compared to all the other resistance leaders? And that's what we saw in this movie, because he's kicked out of the military. Everybody else says, no, we're going to follow you. And he did the impossible. He infiltrated one of their headquarters, freed all the humans, and blew up that hub. So it shows that he actually does have special skills compared to other people. So it is the first time we get to... It's not this he's a random leader of a certain pocket of the resistance. No, he's a big deal. They validated that in this movie.
Yeah.
But I don't like awkward comedy. I don't like it when people are like asking questions and the person who is being addressed knows the answer, but they're too shy or angry or socially awkward to answer the questions. And the thing is, in this movie, John Connor has been dealing with Terminators his entire life. If we are to take the story of the first 3 Terminator movies as being canonical. And everyone is saying to John Connor, you don't know what you're talking about. And it's like, bitch, please.
Right. I got the tapes.
I've been doing this since I was 10. And that's what bothers me.
Well, it's obviously they're not going to listen to him because at the time this movie takes place, time travel hasn't even been invented yet. So there's no reason for them to believe any of the stuff that he's saying.
Right.
Which maybe that's why it makes it a little too dour for my taste. There is, and I'm not saying I'm correct, Kat.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that because the reason they would push back on John also is, as we saw in Terminator 3, Skynet started out as military tech, so they would think, oh, well, maybe it was a military project that just went haywire. Like the people in command don't really have any reason to make the leap in logic to assume that time travel is real.
The end of the first Terminator, we kill the Terminator, and that makes it so that John Connor can be born.
Yeah.
At the end of the second Terminator, we end the possibility of Judgment Day.
Yeah.
The third Terminator, we ensure that John Connor survives.
Judgment Day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What happens at the end of the fourth one?
The end of the fourth one, we find out why John Connor is supposedly this major, and we find out why he is supposedly this great leader, because the previous films don't tell you anything about why he's a great leader.
Right.
We don't really see that in those movies. It's true, Scott. They don't tell you anything.
It's fine. You're not wrong.
Because they don't tell him anything about that, and so we get that in this movie.
All right.
Unfortunately, in the next one, they don't follow this lead.
Yeah, but Emilia Clarke's in it.
Who cares? Yeah. That's not a reason to like the movie.
Right.
It is a very good reason to like the movie.
But no, I mean, liking that movie specifically as opposed to anything else she's been in. Because if the reason is this Emilia Clarke, well, there's all sorts of things she's been in. What makes as a Terminator movie that makes it work? That's what we'll talk about when we get to it next week.
Well, yeah, we'll argue about it next week when I'm just like, I love the Emilia Clarke movie, and you're like, do you like Terminator? And I'm like, no, I only love Emilia Clarke.
See, that's my point, though. If that's the only thing you're going to say next week, then it doesn't make it a good movie.
Well, I apologize for making this a topic of conversation.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I like Emilia Clarke.
You know what else is fine, Steve?
Hmm.
Emilia Clarke.
Yes, very much so.
How many out of 10 do we give this one, Steve?
I do hate this movie, so 4.
Fair.
Steve?
This is a 6.5.
I agree with that. 6.5.
6.5.
Which
is fairly high for this franchise.
It is technically proficient.
No 9.
It looks good. I like the people that are in it, but this story bores me.
God, see, I like this story better than most of the. In fact, all of the.
I like it better than the story for 3, 5, and 6.
Me too.
Because it's a different story.
I haven't seen 6.
Well, it's the same story.
Same as 2, 3, and 5.
Yeah, I think
I've seen 2 and 3.
Yeah. And 5.
Yeah. I think if they were to ask me to write the next Terminator movies, I would do exactly what we were talking about today. I'd go back and revisit the time travel. Why they invented time travel. I'm sure it's to get rid of John Connor.
Or they start researching it because of what he did.
Because of what he did, right? And they figure it out. I think I'd go that way and then lead up to the ultimate climax of how humans are.
Yeah, that's something else this movie does. Is it puts John Connor on Skynet's radar,
right?
As being somebody worth worrying about.
Yeah, I mean, big time. I mean, he was right. He was number 2 on the list.
Yeah,
This movie did help me fall in love with Bryce Dallas Howard.
There you go.
That begs the question: was he number 2 on the list because of the then current events, or did Skynet even send information back in time to its earlier self to say, like covering your bases? If you have time travel, then yeah, send as much shit back as you can to cover all your bases.
Right. That'd be interesting. I think it would be interesting to explore instead of trying to just kind of reboot the same.
Because I can't remember in the third movie, did they?
Did you guys talk about the CGI Arnold Schwarzenegger?
We talked about it a little bit, but I mean, we all did a little bit.
I thought he looked good.
Yeah, it looked fine.
Yeah, it looked fine.
I wasn't angry.
No, I wasn't angry with it.
Like, did they mention in Terminator 3 how the military was able to circumvent the destruction of CyberDyne to create Skynet? Did they ever mention that, or is it just something that just happens?
They said that it was like Skynet was more software than a
hardware
location. Yeah, hardware.
Well, and then in this movie, when Marcus is going through catching up on everything he missed, like getting the internet download, it does say how CyberDyne was it was a private company that got taken over or bought out or by the United States Air Force, I believe it was.
Yeah. So yeah, but that's like, I don't know. Bolt counters are gonna be like, oh no, where did CyberDyne? Where did the Judgment Day go? And it's like, I don't really care. I understand. Like, I get the fact that the entire plot of this series is the idea of terror, of mechanization. Mm-hmm. And machines will kill you.
But not
that's
all,
the terror.
That's what's great about this movie. Not all machines will kill you.
Yeah, no, not the one from Avatar.
Yeah, right. So Marcus didn't want to kill you because he didn't.
But I love it. There is still and I mean, I love the overall thought process. Like with Marcus, he does maintain his humanity despite being a Terminator, even though I find this entire situation ridiculous.
It's crazy because in fact it's Skynet's downfall is the creation they made, right? By making him not aware that he's an infiltrator.
Yeah,
that's what ultimately does them in. At least, I mean, not permanently, but they lose this battle, right?
Yeah.
It's the only reason that John Connor is able to infiltrate or get into Skynet in San Francisco to begin with. It was part of the plan, right?
Yeah.
So
I have a question.
Yeah.
It's a question that I should have asked last week when we were talking about Terminator 3. But would this movie be better if it were Eddie Furlong?
As John Connor?
Yeah. And it's serious. I'm not trying to be flippant.
Would the movie be better? No.
Well, but what? Come on.
No, because Christian Bale is a B plot, B or C plot, but probably B. It's a B plot, right?
Yeah.
Don't you like continuity?
Yeah, they broke continuity in T3 when they cast Nick Stahl.
Right.
But that's a different guy.
Yeah, it was a different guy then too.
What do you mean?
No, but that's what I'm saying is like, would this film series be better if it maintained a cast continuity. Because we do get Arnold. So would it be better if we had Eddie throughout?
No.
I
No,
think
because
it would. I think it would be better.
That's assuming that Eddie Furlong is a better actor than Nick Stahl or a better actor than Christian Bale. Neither of those things are true.
Well, all I know is that Christian Bale is a better Batman.
Well, that's fine. But if that's the one thing that sticks in your craw, then that's fine. Then you're allowed to have your opinion. But
no, I'm not having a craw.
Right?
All right. Let me be the little spoon. I'm not getting in your craw.
No,
I'm just asking questions. Because I think it would, like in terms of the progression, it would be so much better if John Connor was played by the same actor from Terminator 2 onward. That would be, in my mind, chef's kiss. But doesn't happen. Kind of throws me off.
Yeah, I don't. That recasting for me, that just doesn't bother me.
Okay.
I mean, if it was horrible.
Well, George Lazenby is on line 2.
But here's the thing, Scotty. This is what you always do, and you try to make apples to spaceships comparisons as if they're apples to apples comparisons, and they're not. No. You know, you're trying to say that. So what you're saying is that it doesn't matter the quality of actor. If John Connor was actually written in a way in the first 2 movies that actually, I mean, let's say the first movie, the second movie is the only movie where John Connor has any kind of personality, or is even in this franchise at all, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, if Edward Furlong was Leonardo DiCaprio, then I would say, okay, you have a point, right? We have.
Oh, that reminds me.
We have Leonardo's caliber actor. And and in the very next movie, you get the Edward Furlong. If it had gone that trajectory, then I would agree with you. Then I'd be like, yeah, okay, it fell off. It fell off because the level of acting went from superb to subpar, right? Okay.
My favorite Edward Furlong movie is James Cameron's Titanic.
What?
Yeah. That's not an Edward Furlong movie, dude.
He wasn't in that? I thought he was the one who didn't get on the door. Like that Wood?
You know what you're talking about, so I don't know what
Natalie
you're talking
Wood didn't get on the door.
Natalie Wood couldn't float. That's what I was thinking.
She couldn't get back on the boat. No. But
I love being funny for me and then making you guys angry.
It's not anger. It's disappointment.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. Anyway, let's wrap this up. I hate this movie. Never going to watch it again. Never going to pay attention to it in a million years ever again.
This is exactly how I feel about next week's film. I will watch.
I can't wait to see you.
It'll be the very last time I ever watch that movie.
It'll be the very last time that you and I ever speak.
No.
That'll be the last time I probably watch it too.
Yeah, because it's really bad. But
I love this. I love the Genesis.
It's got 26% critic score, 52% audience score.
Yeah, well.
That one.
It's not much better than this. This is 33 and 53.
Yeah, 33 and 53. This one just edges it out. But
if you are a fan of giant robots and action scenes, then you should watch this film. It is good for that. That's the best I can say.
It has a halfway decent storyline. It does introduce a new, fresh twist, which we haven't seen before in the franchise, which is cool.
Yeah, giant robots.
No. Infiltrator, that robot that doesn't know he's an infiltrator robot. Something we haven't seen before or since.
Yeah.
Instead of the same goddamn thing over and over. Here's the problem: if they would tell this, if they want to tell the same story over and over in each of these movies, they should the next movie should show the consequence of that happened, like a reset, right? Like, okay, this is what happened when this happened, and then this is the consequence. Then this is what happened. This is how we're going to change it, so this doesn't happen, and then this is the consequence. But they don't.
But
They
this
don't
is
ever
what
want to
we're
wrap
going to
that
get.
together. They don't want to do that.
This is what we're going to get for the next 3 weeks. Is a bunch of Terminator movies that are supposed to be starting a trilogy, and no one cared.
No.
And that's the same, and that'll be the same conversation the next 2 weeks as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you want to join us next week, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be arguing again.
Yes.
But the reason.
We don't know about
But the reason that
yet.
we're arguing is because we do love the Terminator.
Well, because it's fun. It's a fun franchise. Whether we like every single, you're not going to like every single movie you ever see. It's impossible. But it's a great franchise. But you're going to show my favorite Terminators is the show. That show is amazing.
We should do a review.
If I can find it somewhere, I'm happy to review it.
Dude, I found it.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, if I can find it somewhere to stream,
we can ask.
I gotta be able to watch.
We'll ask Jill.
I watched it when it aired. Originally.
Oh man, dude! I worked at a bar and I set up a projector to watch the premiere of the Sarah Connor Chronicles. I fucking bent over backwards for this show. I love it with the white hot intensity of 1,000 Suns. Not like this movie. Salvation is poo in a bag on fire.
Just like Jenny Isis.
Just like Jenny. No, I love Jenny Isis.
Jenny Isis is hot garbage, and we'll get to that next week.
We will be talking about Jenny Isis next week. I do want to thank Old Man Bird for once again the chest bump and the high five.
Absolutely.
I want to say thank you to Ernesto. It was delightful to see you topless.
And congrats on the puppy.
Yeah. Don't fuck the dog.
No. Yeah, don't do that. Thanks to Jill.
Well, no, I mean waste time. Yeah.
No, you didn't.
Because, no, who would fuck a dog?
Oh, let's see.
Let's see. We found someone.
Says, I do think it would have been more fun to have the same actor. I agree.
Yeah,
it would have been more fun. It doesn't make the movie better or worse for me. It doesn't make the franchise better or worse.
Yeah.
But I do believe I agree with you. It'd be more fun. But of course, yeah, everybody. Yeah, that's why that's the subjectivity of film and art. Everybody's opinion is.
Hey man, I'm a She-Hulk fan, so
right. And nobody's opinion is more or less valid than anybody else's.
What am I doing after the show? Sleeping or watching movies? I will probably start gaming for a bit and then maybe watch a movie and go to bed.
Yeah. Solid advice, Scotty R37.
Thank you. I thought it was
just like a broken clock, Scotty.
Yeah. I'm 7 times a day.
Right twice, at least twice a day.
I don't even know how that metaphor works. So can we get out of here? Can we go? Who's going to say I'll be back?
I'll be back.
Now